Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, I'm building myself a brand new gaming PC. Now, I've actually had a really good gaming PC before this, and this one's actually going to have pretty similar specs to the old one, except I'm actually downgrading the GPU a little bit. Now, you're probably wondering why I would actually do that. Well, it's because I'm going from a full-size ATX build, which you saw me take apart a couple videos ago, or last video, whenever it was, and I'm moving to an all ITX gaming and streaming setup. So, for the gaming build, this is not my streaming build, this is my gaming PC. We are going to be building our PC in the NZXT H1. If you don't know, I don't know if I put it in the title, whatever. I'm just going to say it now, it's going to be in the H1. I'll bring that in later when I put the motherboard in it. But let's go over the specs of our actual build right now, or at least what we're going to be doing first. So first things first, our CPU. And for today's build, we have a Ryzen 9 3900 XT. I would like to have a 5950X or 5900X, but good luck getting that, and also I'm broke. So for RAM, we're using 32 gigs of Trident Z RGB. Now this is only DDR4 3000 megahertz CL16. This is by no means really great memory. Like, I have much faster Trident Z Neo 3600 CL16, but it's only 16 gigs. I have 24 gigs total, but that's 3/6. These are 8 gig DIMMs, so, and since this rig is also going to be for editing with Premiere Pro, you need at least 32 gigs, and this still isn't really enough for this rig. But sadly, the Trident Z Neo 32 gigabyte sticks, so 64 gigs total, did not arrive in time for me to have this build, and I need to have it done like now. So we're going 32 gigs today with plans to upgrade in the future. So that's the RAM we'll be using for this build. For storage, so for this build, I'm super excited because I'm using no spinning hard drives, or at least I think I won't. I could end up upgrading using a 2TB SSHD that will fit in the build, but that's beside the point. For now, we're going with 1.5 terabytes of NVMe high-speed storage. So we have a 512 Samsung like something Evo SSD. This is our boot drive, our NVMe SSD with Windows on it, and for our high-speed editing drive, as well as our game drive, we're actually using a 1 terabyte Silicon Power A80 NVMe SSD. So these are the two SSDs for the two M.2 slots on our board. We have two 2.5-inch bays in this H1, so we're going to be using two 2.5-inch drives. Now, I've accumulated actually a lot of SATA and NVMe and M.2 and other types of drives throughout my time, and I just have a ton of them. You know, you kind of get the gist. I have a lot of drives. So choosing was pretty hard, but I ended up, for our first SATA SSD, we're going with this Samsung 850 Evo that was actually sent to me by the same person who sent me the RX 580 to give away. We need a priest on Twitch. Thank you so much. You can also find him in Discord if you want to hit him with a thank you for sending this over. I'm super excited. I've actually never had one of these Samsung SSDs, the 2.5-inch. You know, they're like the gold standard or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty standard. Solid metal. This is just amazing construction. So this is a 500 gig SSD, which I'll be using for either more games. This will probably be my main game drive, actually, instead of the 1 terabyte, while that one's for editing our 4K content. So this will be for games and other bulk storage, well, bulk. And then, as well as also have an external drive connected for just dumping things onto. It's a 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda in an external enclosure that'll be through USB 3. Now, for our second drive, I thought about going with a 1 terabyte SSD that I do have extra, but I kind of want to just sell that in like a build or something, or as a kit with Windows on it. So I'm going to leave that out for now, and we'll leave that second slot open for either A, our SSHD, or B, I believe I have another one of these, except a 1 terabyte version of this same drive coming in the mail. So hopefully that's happening. That'll be sent. That's great. I'm super excited for that to come. So I'll probably use that instead, unless it doesn't come, then I'll use the SSHD. But for now, we're going to leave our second expansion slot open. For this 3900 XT, we need a board with a compatible chipset. We need a chipset with a lot of connectivity for our dual NVMe drives. And we need a fully featured motherboard for this insane build, and for maybe slight overclocking, because it is liquid cooled a little bit, but that's besides the point. So for this build, we're going with the ROG Strix B550i gaming motherboard. This is an ITX motherboard from Asus, and I bought it at Micro Center open box because I am a cheap, but I paid about $200 for this motherboard, which is still not great, but whatever. And it's missing parts too, so that's amazing. So we need our IR shield, we need our motherboard itself, and we need our M.2 mounting. This motherboard is stacked. It has two NVMe SSDs, one of them being PCI Express 4.0, one PCI Express 4.0 16X slot, and then a PCI Express 3.0 M.2 on the back as well. You know, dual DIMM slots like standard. It's got USB-C and USB-A front panel, which is actually what I wanted. It's part of the reason I got this board is because of that USB-C and USB-A, because the H1 has both of those for some stupid reason. You know, among other things is like active cooling for the I/O or whatever, you know, like cool armored connectors. It's just a sick board now that I'm looking at it, you know, fully and have the chance. And I'm super excited to build with it. It also has USB-C audio, which I thought was cool, but the cable it comes with is just missing because someone stole it out of the box, which is great. Alright, so besides that, let's actually get our CPU mounted first. Now, I don't have a dynamic camera, which sucks today, but I feel like this build is just really important and be cool just to sit around and talk about the build. So I'm going to, first of all, slot in our 3900X. Super easy to do. Just shove that in and pull it down. Done. 3900XT, actually. I think it's a stupid product. Did I buy it? Yes, but I bought it because it was super on sale. Like, I bought this for less than the 3900X costed. Open box at Micro Center. Thanks, Micro Center. Not sponsored, never will be. So it was a great deal, and I still have the 3900X if anyone wants to buy it for like $350. For a RAM, again, 32 gigs of Trinzy RGB. We're going to slot that in now. My one gripe with this motherboard already, I hate these DDR4 slots that only have one side clipped because sticks just get stuck in it all the time, and it's a pain in the ass, and that's how you break your RAM. So we're going to mount our SSDs. Now, where are they? As this is our main boot drive, and it has exposed DRAM and NAND flash, this is the one that's going under our heatsink on the front of the board. So basically, it's a cool little add-in board. It might be OCP mezzanine or something. I don't know what actual connector it uses from the board, but it definitely is a little like backplane off the front of the board. So we are just going to unscrew the M.2 heatsink. Hopefully it has a thermal pad on it, because I don't think... Wow, these are long screws. What the hell? But this one isn't. Okay. And we're just going to remove that. Yes, it does have a thermal pad already pre-peeled. Great. And we're going to move our M.2 screw. M.2 slot. So we're just going to slot in our main boot drive, push it down, and screw it in. Again, I love M.2. It's just so easy. I hate SATA connectors and stuff like that. They're so basic. If I had bigger drives, like if I had maybe 2 of these 1 terabyte drives, but thanks to Silicon Power, actually, who sent me this drive for this build and for a review, which I actually haven't published a review yet at the time of making this video. I gotta do that. Hopefully it's up by now. They actually sent me this drive for this build and for a review, so thank you for that. I'm super excited to use it in this build. And let me just put back on our heatsink so that this super high speed M.2. It's not PCI Express 4.0, sadly, but that's a little overkill and unnecessary, so it's fine. Even though I do 4K video editing, it's really like for like 8K. So I'm good for now and probably forever. So that is cool. And there we go, just like that, that's installed. One thing I don't like, yeah, green PCB doesn't look amazing, but I'm a fan. And of course we're going to flip it over on the back. And, oh, it does not have the standoff installed, so we will have to install that, just like so. So we have 1 terabyte on the back of the board, 512 gigs on the front. That is amazing. Now we can install our RAM into the board, just like so. 1 stick. 2 stick. Alright, besides that, I'm trying to think if there's nothing else we can really put on the board. The mounting hardware does use the standard socket mount for this board, so we're fine on that front. I believe we can actually move on to our case, which is great. As you could probably tell by the sheer amount of mess in this case, this is where our build goes from really fun to really not fun. And this is the NZXT H1 case. We're actually going to slide this stuff off because we removed the glass and back panel. Put that down here. And this is the bare bones of our case. It's pretty simple. Then we got a radiator here, power supply, PCI extension. It's, again, a really cool case concept and, like, visual-wise. Actually building in it is hell. You know, a lot of YouTubers that are, of course, most of the time the video is sponsored by NZXT, or they got the case for free. But as someone who paid, I believe, about $400, including tax, to get what is paramount to an Xbox Series X, an Xbox Series S with a power supply that's cooler and a cooler that's cooler, $400 for this type of, you know, quality of build is not worth it. But that's the point. I don't care about the build, I care about the finished product, and the finished product, granted, looks pretty cool, unless it catches on fire, which the H1 apparently does now, so that's just fun. Just watch out for that if you buy this case. Now, NZXT, great company, just kidding, that was a lie. They use stupid stuff, like, instead of standard motherboard mount screws, which I have a ton of, they try to use their own. So I'm going to try to use my standard ones, because God knows where the ones that came with this case went. Did they even come with the case? I was told LGA 2066 mounting came with this case. Next thing we'll need, thermal paste. I'm going to go ahead and put my thermal paste on our CPU right now. I am, of course, using Arctic MX4. You've noticed I use this a lot. It's just the best. It's the best thermal paste. It's good. It's relatively inexpensive. It's like $10 a tube. It's really easy. And that's like, you'll never... I've had the same tubes forever, you know. Only recently I've started using more, and I got some Arctic sent to me, which is great. But this is just awesome stuff. It works. It works great. It's good for GPU repasting. It's good for actually, you know, putting it on your CPU. Lower your temps. Better than the stock shit that AMD's coolers comes with. And not to mention, and why am I saying this? Well, yes, I did get this sent to me for free. I'm going to say it right now. I got, you know, the SSD I sent. I say it. Because I asked for it. Because I wanted this. I specifically asked for this paste because it's good. And I've been using it. I've used it since my first build. And I'll use it till my last. Or until MX... Is there an MX5 yet? If there's an MX5, I want it. That might be too much, but I'd rather have too much than too little. Mounting this board in the case, getting it in is really stupid. You have to, like, slide it in from the side. I hate it. Oh, God. How do I... Goes in like that. Which, honestly, for the H1, I just recommend not even putting the IO shield in. I'm only doing it because I don't want to end up with an extra IO shield sitting around. Because I have a ton of boards. But if you only have one board because it's your only build, you don't need it. Anyone who says you need it is a stupid. And you don't need it. Alright, the first thing I'm actually going to do, now that I'm already mad, is I'm going to mount my cooler. Because it's going to be a pain later. This is so stupid. Again, I hate NZXT's mounting. They use their own custom garbage mounting. Yeah, they do use the standard, but they have to be annoying about it. Like, oh, we use the standard mounting, but kind of. Should probably mount the motherboard in the case. Don't care. Don't care what I should do. I care what I'm gonna do. And what I'm gonna do is mount my frickin' cooler to my CPU. Oh god, we should route SATA cables first. That's a good idea. Oh, hold on. And we should do our front panel. Everything's on the top. That's kind of annoying. I just spent 10 minutes finding 2 SATA cables. That's really cool. I'm having a great time today. It's entirely my fault, though. I don't blame NZXT for that. Alright. Let's get back into this build. I've, like, accidentally uninstalled all the pre-routed, like, cable management stuff. Because I was trying to do this build with a different motherboard. And the case is just like, no, we're not designed for that motherboard specifically. Like, screw that motherboard. Like, well, okay. Thanks, NZXT. Alright, let's see if I can get these cables in some magical way. I sincerely doubt it. Alright, let's see. Oh man, this is a pain in the ass. USB-A, the worst connector on the planet. HD audio, a little pointless, but still, like, necessary sometimes. I'm so confused how they expected you to connect this. I'm gonna do it because I'm cool, but, like, you know, that might not even be it, too. There is a connector that shares the same exact pinout. or pin layout as HD audio. See, I can't even check if that's like in. I don't care. So that's just awesome. It's freaking sick, man. SATA time. All right. SATA has been shoved into the appropriate shoving place. Are we just down to 24 pin? Cable management in this case comes down to a series of strategic shoving, but isn't that just what cable management always is anyway? Like, they give you enough space up here. How the fuck you're supposed to use it, I don't know. Ah, perfection. Now it's just a lot more strategic shoving. Shoving our 24 pin upwards to avoid it interfering with the fan. Now, as far as I know, this is like complete on that front, but I don't know. I have no idea. Alright, let's try installing a drive. Oops, almost forgot our PCI Express riser. Perfect, that is some amazing cable management shoving, if I have ever seen it. There we go. I got two little SATA connectors ready to go. One of them, we can put our 860 Evo, 850, whatever it is. And it's actually really nice mounting. It literally just slides in, just like so. And then it locks in. Super easy. Props to NZXT. Where it's due, it's a good system. SATA actually facing the right way for once. We'll just have to deal with that later. We may not get a second NVMe in here, or a second SATA, because we are blocking the port heavily with these right angles, which sucks. That's fine. I think all that's left is our GPU. Have we really done everything else? Have I somehow gotten this in without completely breaking it? I don't like how this is not fully going in. So far, I believe that's everything, unless someone's screaming at their screen that I did something wrong. And now we have just our PCI Express. Now, for our graphics card, I had a tough choice, because I've got really two cards that will fit. Sadly, I can't use my liquid-cooled GTX 1080 Ti, nor can I use my Poseidon because it has a weird fan issue that makes it super loud and annoying, and also I think it's just too big. So I had a choice. It's basically got to be some standard air-cooled card or a blower-style card, which really left me with these two cards. This was the part of the build that took me a while to decide. I could either go with A, my all-time favorite graphics card, the Vega 64 Silver Blower Style, don't worry, I'm not going to balance it like this, which I just love the look of and I think it's an awesome card and will look sick in this build because of the red glow and stuff like that, or the classic, and probably a tiny bit better, GTX Titan XP. Now, probably a lot of you saying, go with the XP, it looks so much, better in the build and stuff like that, and, while I did, and I actually went with it for the build originally, which had the worst motherboard, I want to use my favorite card. This is my opportunity. I know it's worse than the 1080 Ti that I already have, and it's probably not the best choice for performance, but it's what I want, and a build should be a mix of going for the best performance for price, as well as actually getting what you want, looks, and, well, just using what you want wise. Like, if you want to use a Fury X instead of a 1650 or 1660 Super, go for it. I'm going to use a Vega 64, which is a pain in the ass to install. There we go. That was crunchy, but it's in. Of course, it's just a singular thumb screw down here. Ah, non-magnetic. Forgot. Good job, NZXT. Hopefully it doesn't catch fire with my favorite old-time graphics card in here, or NZXT's in for a bad time. Just kidding, I can't do anything. And, of course, we just need two 8-pins. This is a 650 watt power supply, so hopefully it just barely has enough wattage, or I will have to buy a new one and put it in this case. And personally route the cables myself, which I might do a better job than the people at NZXT, because I only need an 8 and 6 pin, now I need two 8 pins for a card that is technically worse. But again, I don't care. Now, some people say it's bad luck to boot the PC before, or, after putting the side panels on. I'm going to put the side panels on, then boot, because I'm crazy. Let me turn on the power supply first, before I forget. Boop. Now, actually, as you can see, you don't even get to see your graphics card from the front, which kind of sucks. The glass is on this side, but you still get to see the glow and stuff. Like, this is such a sexy card that I'm, sad about that, but whatever, it's fine. Let me put on the side panels. Then our just ventilated back. Let's move this Titan. And just like that, I have my completed H1. I will show you the tempered glass side, but you'll just see a reflection. Oh, there we go. Stay in, tempered glass, please. Yeah, it's really shovey. It's kind of got a shovey vibe. I want to just turn it on and see what happens. So a little fun thing, the power cable's super easy to plug in because it's 90 degrees. The USB port's nearly fucking impossible, so just keep that in mind. Let's just see if this thing boots. Oh, that Radeon. So beautiful. Yeah. Oh, God. Yep, a screw has already fallen out. I hate NZXT for using these stupid, their own, when I want to use their own stupid screws all the time. I'm actually looking for, there's a post light in there that tells you if there's an issue, and it is currently white, so I believe that is good, because it went orange, red, white. Now, it sucks, like there's some G-Skill RAM in there, probably a reflection, but if there's no reflection, you can see the G-Skill RAM and stuff, it's covered by cables. The cable management in this case is terrible. Waiting for the comments. Okay, I can actually see the boot SSD, or the boot light from this side. And it looks like we're actually good. I'm going to plug in a display, though. Again, plugging in cables to this is, like, impossible. I don't like that there's a screw loose in here, either. That does not make me very happy. And then, of course, you have to route them out the back, so I gotta, like, turn the whole fucking case. Alright. Time to go on with the... Let's see if there's a screen. Ah, there we go. We got a boot screen. I should boot too. Sorry guys, I know I'm off camera right now, but I'm just checking the screen. Yep, 32 gigs of RAM. We have 3 SSDs, our Samsung and our 850 EVO, and our, new devices installed. Let's press F1. Run setup. I know I wish I had a screen over there that was not VGA. Temperature, 36 degrees. That's an amazing thing, even though our core voltage is 1.5 volts. Hey, at least we're keeping cool. I'm just going to click through our BIOS real quick. I'll be right back and get this thing booted. Alright guys, after just some simple checking, our CPU's idling around 50 degrees, 40 to 50. That's because the voltage of these AMD, or these Asus ports, is set to like 1.5 volts at stock, which is crazy. So I'm going to do some undervolting and overclocking on the CPU, and that should fix that issue. But that's the point. This build is fully functional. All of our drives are detected. All of our RAM is running at 3000 megahertz CL, whatever the hell I said it was before. This build actually went pretty smooth. Of course, the cable management, not my favorite, but that's besides the point. I just realized the glass is facing you. It's all reflections. So, hope you guys kind of enjoyed this build a little bit. I'm super excited for my new gaming PC. I'm super excited for my new streaming PC. Notice we have an extra 3900X. That might not be it, though. That's the point. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.